What counts as breakfast? How much food do I have to eat for it to count? Does my coffee count? Does my smoothie count? If all I can stomach is a piece of toast, is that enough? Studies that evaluate the health benefits of eating breakfast regularly, like this 2019 meta-analysis that shows that people who sometimes skip breakfast have a 22% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to people who eat breakfast every day. Or this 2019 meta-analysis that shows that people who regularly skip breakfast have a 21% increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease compared to people who eat breakfast regularly. These types of studies define breakfast in one of two ways. One is any food or beverage that you consume between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Or the other definition, which has 3 parts. Breakfast has to be the first meal of the day consumed before or at the start of daily activities. 2, it has to be consumed within 2 hours of waking, typically before 10 a.m. And 3, it must consist of somewhere between 20 and 35% of your daily calories. If you follow a 2,000 calorie per day diet, that would mean breakfast needs to contain between 400 and 700 calories. That would include food and beverage, so if you add cream and sugar to your coffee, that would count towards that caloric total. So we've got 2 technical definitions of breakfast, but whichever one studies use, they show that breakfast is good for us. As summarized by this 2017 review, people who regularly eat breakfast have higher quality diets than people who regularly skip breakfast. Breakfast skippers eat more sugar on average and are almost twice as likely to have nutrient shortfalls. Consuming breakfast regularly reduces risk of obesity and weight gain, lowers all of the cardiovascular disease risk factors, LDL and total cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood pressure. Skipping breakfast increases the risk of impaired glucose metabolism, including higher fasting glucose, higher glucose after a meal, and higher hemoglobin A1C. And as I already mentioned, consuming breakfast regularly reduces risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. I think a good way to think about these 2 definitions of breakfast is good, eating or drinking anything between 5 and 9 a.m., and great, a substantial meal that is at least 20% of our caloric intake consumed within 2 hours of waking. And actually in another video, I will go through some of the studies that show that a bigger breakfast has additional benefits. But the reason why I encourage thinking of it in this way is it means don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. If all you have the appetite or stomach for in the morning is your coffee and a piece of toast or a banana, that is better than not eating anything. And because that low appetite in the morning can be a sign of high cortisol, the stress hormone, and because studies show that people who regularly consume breakfast have better managed stress responses, eating a light breakfast can help to start regulating that system and be a great stepping stone towards having more appetite in the morning.